My name's Charles Walker, and I primarily work in Ableton on the computer, but more of the live looping and live music is the way to go. I think what inspires me to create the most is being able to have everything that's in my head, be able to come out and to, be able to flourish. I see sounds as colors. So I see greens, purples, and everything, and then be able to translate that somehow and have someone else listen to it. I think that's like very inspirational. And to add some positivity to it, can't go wrong there. I feel like our process that we've had as far as creating our originals so far is just presenting an idea to everybody, and it could be a melody, a beat or something, and just be like, hey, I heard this, what do you guys think? What would you add to it? And then we all literally just add to, I like to call it our gumbo there, and we just keep adding flavors and different spices and ingredients to make this original, and we just continue this process. It's kind of hard at times because it's so many different ideas and you have to take the best ones from everyone. And I know working in my own creative process, I'm able to do any idea I want. If I don't like it, I'll just take it out because I'm my own critic. So, my process is much easier because I'm able to kind of go to different things. I can go to the drums, figure something out, go to the piano, figure something out. Whereas when I'm in the band, I'm gonna bring the vocals and the lyrics. I may have a melody, but I'm gonna leave that to my keys player, or a bass line, I'm gonna leave that to my bass player. So our creative process is definitely still, trying to find its way, but it's one of the best feelings in the world, I feel like, besides having my daughter, I should say. What I like to call the roadblock is when I don't have creativity, and I feel like I go through these hills and mountains sometimes where I'll be really good at making beats for the month or so, and I'm like, all my beats are so good, but I can't write a lyric to any of them to save my life. But I love that also because then it'll switch, it'll be opposite. I'll make that beat like a month beforehand, and then like a month later I'm like, I can't make no beats. But I may just be sitting in the backyard and I'm writing a whole song on the journey of a butterfly. It definitely, being a musician, I think naturally you are a perfectionist. So I think that's one thing I've had to tell myself, that it doesn't have to be challenging. It's okay to be a perfectionist, but it's okay for everything not to be perfect, And it's something I think I've gotten from my father, because he was, an on-time type of guy, and his training was much different than I was. So I feel like, to continue on as a musician and to be prosperous in it, you have to always tell yourself, everything doesn't always have to be on time, and it doesn't have to be a challenge. So the challenge is telling yourself not to have a challenge, I think is the main thing there. My favorite one was right here in this room, was my singing class, and I was looking forward to it all year, and it was one of my last ones, and it was so fantastic because all my classes were mainly younger kids and parents and stuff like that. This class was mainly older people, and it was amazing getting them to get out of their seat and kind of make them do all my crazy antics that I do for breathing techniques and kind of harnessing your voice and such like that. That was a very inspiring lesson to me, because I felt like as a teacher that was one of the moments to myself to where I could say I'm very proud of myself. I felt like I touched a lot of people in that group, and a lot of them did come to visit me, and actually one of them came to my show this last Saturday, so that was awesome to see her and have her come out there and show her like how I do stuff and tell her you can do this too. So the rhythm classes, I kind of I broke it up a little bit differently than the way I learned how to play drums. The way I learned was my dad had built his own studio in his garage, and he made a different section with a drum set. He surprised me one day. He was like, here's your drum set. And he didn't know, rudiments. He didn't know technical terms of rhythm and such like that. So I felt like, in a sense, that was really cool, because then I learned drums on feel instead of knowing sheet music and such like that. What I did in those classes was I explained certain terms of rhythm and kind of general music type of things like that. So for instance, learning staccato and legato, learning just different technical terms. And I wanted to pepper that in, but not too much to where it was menacing. Because when you get those terms sometimes, if someone were to, come to me and I didn't know music and triple pianissimo, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. You're crazy, So you don't know those terms and it can be a little bit intimidating. So especially for kiddos, I wanted to break it down and make it fun. So I brought interactive drums, which were like djembes and shakers, tambourines, and then also brought not just about rhythm, but I also kind of made it a general music thing. So I would still do rhythm throughout the whole thing, but bring my live looping and teach them about harmonies and different looping and different stuff that you can do as far as performing music. So that way it wasn't just, this is rhythm and that's it. This is what rhythm can do for you. These are the different avenues that you can go with rhythm. I hope my art brings education, just to keep passing on knowledge. I hope it just keeps doing this snowball effect and it keeps going on through generations, and people can learn something. It could be young kids or older people, doesn't matter. As long as I'm passing on knowledge, that's all I hope it can do, and it just keeps going.